edition of Hypo Brew. I'm Tom Brennan. Today, a crazy experiment. Yes, a 15-minute boil. And this is going to be pretty interesting. We had a discussion at our homebrew club meeting about 2 weeks ago or so for to see how kind of crazy, wacky things we can do as part of a club. And so everybody kind of have one little theme, whatever. One of the themes was doing a 15-minute boil. So for our February meeting, we have to do a 15-minute boil beer. So I'm going to do a 1-gallon extract beer. I'm actually going to try to make a Belgian pale ale. The ingredients are so simple. I'm actually doing this before I'm cooking dinner just to see how quickly I can get it done. Let's take a look at the ingredients. Okay, this is pretty much all we're going to need for the 15-minute boil. I have, we have a gallon of Poland Spring water. I have a pound of dried malt extract. This is Pilsen Light extract. I have 45 grams of table sugar. I have here 8 grams of Magnum. I have my Belgian Trappist yeast that I had this is a wash from a beer that I made a while back. I'm actually using this 1-gallon beer as a starter for a large quad, possibly quad, maybe triple. And actually down here I have, let's see, what do we have here? This is an ounce of chocolate malt that I had been sitting at room temperature overnight. So this is going to be really, really dark. So let's go ahead and start moving along with this 1-gallon recipe. My plan of attack, reason why I'm actually using some chocolate malt is really just to add some color. So I have this sitting overnight. Look at that, it looks like coffee. Have this sitting overnight at room temperature. I just used a rolling pin to crack my grain open. Yeah, this is really super dark. And I really just kind of used enough water to kind of cover the grains up. I didn't really quite measure it. This is really going to be, like I said, a really pretty experimental beer. So, all right, so I've got my grain going here, and I'm going to add this right into my quote boil kettle, aka my pasta pot. Before I forget to mention this in the video, this is the chocolate malt. What we decided that we had to do, you can put whatever you wanted into the beer after the boil, before the boil, but you can only boil it for 15 minutes. So that's why I didn't even bother doing a mash in, for like a half hour or whatever. I just wanted to get this done with. So I spent some time yesterday and just rolled that stuff out. But I'm definitely going to get a lot of color out of this. So, people could dry hop things, do whatever you want to do, add, coffee, or, whatever. But again, you could only boil for 15 minutes. That's the deal with this particular experiment we have. All right, there's the water. Let's fire up the kettle. What I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to take, this is a pound. Let's see if you can see that. A pound of Pilsen Light dried malt extract. I'm going to add this right now to the kettle. The reason why is because I keep using kettle as if it's a real kettle, but I guess technically it is a kettle. Just because I don't want anything to kind of gum up, and I don't really have a whole lot of time to wait for everything to settle down. So I'm actually just going to throw this in right now. Make sure I get it all cleared up. And as a matter of fact, what I'm going to do, once I get this all mixed in, I'm actually going to add my sugar as well, because in 15 minutes, there's not really a whole lot of leeway for things. So actually, let's do I'm going to add the sugar now. Might as well. So this is 45 grams of sugar. I'm adding the sugar just to kind of be true to the Belgian style, but also to kind of boost up the ABV a little bit. I didn't want to go crazy. I really want to kind of make this simple. I didn't want to go crazy and open up a half a pound of the extract. I just want to buy a pound. It was just that much easier. While my pot is coming up to a boil, I want to quickly tell you why I chose Magnum as my hop for this 1-gallon extract batch 15-minute boil. Because I'm only doing a 15-minute boil, I gotta keep watching my pot. I didn't want to impart a whole lot of hop flavor into the beer. So I wanted to get a hop that was very clean, bittering, and just imparts some bitterness. I'm only hitting about 20 IBUs. That's why I chose Magnum, because it's a very clean hop. If I chose Fuggles to get me up to that 20 IBUs, I would have to use a whole lot of it, which would impart a whole lot of flavor. See what I'm getting at? So that's why I chose 0.3 ounces or 8 grams of Magnum at this 15-minute mark. if I chose Fuggles, I'd have to use a whole lot more of the East Kent Goldings. I'd have to use a whole lot more, and I didn't want that whole spicy thing going on because I just wanted this to be a clean Belgian pale ale, and that's the reason why I chose just that amount of hops. That, and I love Magnum, and I had a whole lot of it hanging out. Okay, got some boiling action going on in the pot. I'm going to take my Magnum hops and just drop it right in there and start my timer. 15 minutes. Go. Okay, well, I've got the boil going on there with my Magnum hops. Just quickly grab my Star San bucket here. I have a funnel sanitizing. I've got my 1 gallon jug. I have a whole airlock in there, I swear. At some point, they're just kind of in pieces and a bung to throw on top of there. Again, sanitation is key. Even if it's just using a 1 gallon batch, you want to make sure that everything is all squared away. So I just have a few more minutes left, and we're going to see what happens. All right, we are done. Let's kill this flame. What I'm actually going to do, too, is I'm going to take out the hop bag. I don't want anything getting into my fermenter because I want to try to use this as a starter, so I want to try to make this as clean as possible. So take my hop bag out and put on my professional brewer's mitts, and I'm going to put this over to my sink. So let's clean this wort off, cool this wort off, I should say, as quickly as possible. Okay, got my wort down to about 72 degrees, and I'm going to gently pour this into my sanitized jug with my sanitized funnel. Okay, so I have my yeast here. From before, during the boil, actually, I took off the water that was on top of there. So I've basically got some Trube here alongside the yeast. Going to give it a good shake to wake everybody up, and also make sure none of it really kind of sticks to the side of the bottle here, because I want to get as much as I possibly can out of this yeast. I've also sprayed some Star San on the outside. So I'm going to pitch this right in here. Yeah, it's nice and thick, see that? All right. All right. Now we're going to pour the rest of the wort right on top of the yeast there, and make sure I get all the yeast going on in there. Things all put in there, and I'm going to let it go ferment, see what happens.